Today is Wednesday, February the 3rd, and you can see that the McClellan oscillator ticked up just a very tiny bit. It went from 2 to 16. And the FinViz world of advancers and decliners was about almost 2 to 1 advancing to declining. And the initial drop in the Dow, pop and then drop, was quickly recovered. Now the first 15 minutes I've always talked about, this is the time when institutions buy, mutual funds buy. They've just got buy on market open orders. All the automated ordering happens at this time. I steer clear of that first 15 minutes. If you track what happens in the first 15 minutes, the high that you make in the first 15 minutes is often the high of the day or the low of the day. It's just very interesting to do that. Volume was really low in the Dow. Volume was pretty high in the NASDAQ. It had a pop, drop, and then resumed up. So the whole market was like that. NASDAQ was down, Apple was down, Dow was up, S&P was up. So now let's take a look at the charts, because there are some interesting things there as usual. And the volatility index dropped again. It's now in that area that let's just zoom out here. It's now approaching this area here. Let's get this area here right extended. It's now approaching the area, what we call the area of complacency, which is down below that green line. And we're getting there. That's the area of complacency when the market actually does quite well. The S&P, let's zoom in on this. The S&P did not make a new high today, dropped a little bit. Apple also dropped. That 8 EMA, 8 EMA is proving to be a problem. Volume has been declining all week. Z, wow, got out of that too soon, didn't I? And this Gartley pattern was just blown away, totally blown away. If we take these previous Fibonacci's, where did we have resistance? Always trust the Fibonacci's, right? Where did we have resistance? Right back at this particular high. So it was this wave down that we were looking at, and we've just hit that 100% and then pulled back. Got to take a look at it again, but only when it's over 55.65 to see if it'll move up. And let's see what kind of a pattern will develop in the next coming days to give us some sort of a clue about where that stock is going to go. Let's just take a look at the volume, because it was a big day, and look at that. The volume was particularly strong. Look at that. So now we've had, if you look at, wish I could make that bigger. Maybe I can. Yeah, there we go. If you look at the big volume days, buying, selling, buying, 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 bit of selling back here, just blew away that Gartley pattern. Wow. Let's keep an eye on it. Square, good day today, but finished in this area of indecision. Moved up to the 78.6, came down to the 8 EMA, and finished with this little, almost a perfect doji. Dojis can sometimes mean a reversal. Let's just take a look at what it looks like in the 5 minutes. It probably looks like the market did. Exactly. Pop, drop, and then moved up for the rest of the day and then tailed off. Now let's go back and see if the overall market did the same thing. So let's go back to the S&P. Let's look at its 5 minutes. Pop, drop, move up, and then dropped off at the end of the day. So Square only behaved like the rest of the market did. This was above average market move, bigger relative strength 5 minute bar than the rest of the market. And it certainly did go up. Where did it go? It went to resistance 2 and then dropped off. Let's look at the volume right there. And the volume on that candle was fairly high, lower than the initial selling volume. And then we had this spike up, but there were sellers waiting at R2 to 34.49, and that spooked everybody, and then there was a big drop. Must have been a lot of buying going on as it was moving up there, and then the sellers came in, the day traders came in and just swooped it up. NIO had a good day today, ranging day of $3.88. It's currently up $1.95, still in this pennant position. Great stock. I did roll my 60s and 63s into next week, pocketed a really nice profit on the premium, and was able to pick up a good premium next week as well. NIO has fairly high volatility, so selling calls while holding that stock is really a nice way to generate income, particularly when the stock is just channeling like this. PRGS, I told you that we had this ABC pattern going on. I was wrong. I didn't look at that, and I just tweeted that about an hour ago saying I was wrong. A proper ABCD would not have looked like that, wouldn't have had that point. C should have come up to here, but you can see that it didn't. So B was here. C never made it up. Sorry, B was here. C was not there. It should have been 46.10. So this is not an ABCD pattern. We now really need to reevaluate where we're going. If we had an ABCD and then it started to move up, the next pattern would have been what's called a bearish Gartley pattern. It would have been XA to B to C to D. So we don't want to see that. So we didn't have an ABCD, thank goodness. Maybe we can start some other kind of a Gartley pattern. With this move down, we may get to a, let's just draw one manually and show you what it's like. Let's just take a manual Gartley and let's draw this and say that this is our A point. Let's say our B point comes here, our C point there. We're just randomly drawing them in. But a Gartley would actually have to come back to 35.67, and then its eventual target would be 47.24. That's if it performs a Gartley pattern next. If it goes into a bat pattern, then it's going to go to A, to B, to C, to D. But the correct position for a B would be 44.57. So let's put that in there for the time being, and let's say we're shooting for, or we're looking for, a bat pattern. Once we see the B, we'll wait and see if there's a move towards C, then we have a bat in progress. If it continues to move beyond B, then we'll redraw this and take a look and see if we have a Gartley in progress. And the only reason I'm doing that is because it just finished a very nice Gartley pattern. And so I'm wondering if it's being set up to do it again. So let's take a look at it. In the meantime, I did add another 100 shares because it's not moving really quickly, but I wanted to be part of this trade. Now, plug moved up nicely. It's broken up above this pennant. If it moves up tomorrow, and I'm going to put a alert right there, I'm going to add more plug. And plug, I have, I rolled my 70 calls, picked up a really nice profit, and rolled them into next week for, let's see, for $3 and, close this. I rolled them next week for $3.59. So my break even on plug would be $73.59, and I just pocketed several hundred dollars on the 70 calls for just this week, and only holding on to them for less than a week. Rocket, not much to say there. AT&T, I'm waiting to buy some more with the dividend that I received last week. The banks, JP Morgan was up. US Bank was up nicely to 44.77. Anything else we want to look at? Dollar General, I think we can forget about Dollar General now. URI, not much. I'm not even going to look at GameStop. VERU. Yesterday's pop was not met with a continuing move up. I'm losing interest in this because this was supposed to be a Momo stock that was just going to break up quickly to 1140. Not happening. You can buy it. I would put a stop at $9 and a little bit below the ADMA. I would put a stop maybe 15, 20 cents below the 8 EMA. And it was a nice try, but get out of it if that happens. I might do that tomorrow and stay in it as long as I can. Put a trailing stop on of maybe 50 cents, 75 cents. What else do we want to look at? SONO, look at that. Jeez. I mean, this is a typical bullish, look at this, pennant, breakout, flag, breakout. I wish I was in this stock. That's all for today. Stay bullish because that's where the market is. Very positive. The Democrats are convinced they're going to get $1,400 per person out there making under $75,000 or $150,000 as a couple. Now maybe those numbers will come down as they negotiate with the GOP, and I suspect they will. But I think the Democrats are going to stick to that $1,400, and that's going to help the economy. The rest of the bill beyond that is equally important, where that money gets into municipal governments, state governments, COVID testing centers, hospitals, and so on. That's going to help the economy as well. Thank you. See you tomorrow.